Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving right into something that sounds a bit crazy at first, but is absolutely true. Success is actually scary. We're going to unpack exactly why most people stay stuck in life, and spoiler alert, it's not because they lack the ability, and it's certainly not because they aren't smart enough. It's actually because fear feels safer than success. I know, it's a bold statement, but by the end of our time together, you're going to see exactly how your own mind might be playing tricks on you. So let's kick things off with a real question that I want you to ask yourself right now. What is truly holding you back the most at this very moment? Are you letting the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, or the fear of change dictate your major life decisions? Just hold on to your answer as we go through this, because identifying which of these fears has a grip on you, that's step one to breaking free. Section 1. The brain's comfort trap. Okay, let's look at the actual biology of our minds. We all like to think we're these totally rational beings, right? Making smart, logical choices for our future. But the reality is, the human brain is literally hardwired to run away from uncertainty. By evolutionary design, your brain's main job isn't to make you wealthy or happy or ultra successful. Its job is just to protect what it already has. It desperately wants you to stay inside familiar routines to avoid any potential loss. And this biological wiring, it perfectly explains a phenomenon we see all the time: why so many people stay in situations they actively hate. Whether it's a dead-end job or a completely toxic environment, people stick around simply because the familiar routine, even if it's miserable, just feels safer to the brain than stepping into the unknown. Every single day, we're basically fighting a battle between two opposing psychological forces. On one side, you've got the comfort of the familiar. Safety, routine, predictability, it feels warm and secure. But on the flip side, we have the necessary discomfort of growth, the uncertainty, the risk, the new challenges. Our brains naturally want to pull us back toward that predictability to keep us safe. But as we'll see, pretty much everything you actually desire in terms of self-improvement and success, it lives exclusively over there in that realm of uncertainty. Section 2. Fear disguised as logic. Here's where it gets really sneaky. Because your brain is so desperate to keep you wrapped up safely in your comfort zone, it comes up with these insidious ways to rationalize staying there. It convinces you that you aren't actually afraid, you're just being smart. Fear rarely actually looks like fear. Most of the time, it disguises itself as logic, or caution, or waiting for the stars to perfectly align. Have you ever caught yourself saying, "Oh, I'm just waiting for the right time," or "I'm just being cautious," or my personal favorite, "I just need to do a little more research first"? Well, that right time excuse, usually just a hidden fear of failure. That caution is actually fear of change. And that endless research is really just a fear of judgment. Worrying about what people will think if you launch your project and it isn't absolutely flawless. It's an incredibly clever disguise. And we see this everywhere in the real world. Think about the aspiring entrepreneur who delays a brilliant business idea for years under the guise of perfecting the business plan. Or the hardworking employee who won't ask for a well-deserved raise because they tell themselves, "Oh, the economy is just too bad right now." Think about folks who avoid a desperately needed career change or stay in a stagnant relationship because starting over just feels way too risky. These are classic, everyday examples of people walking away from incredible opportunities in money and life, all just to avoid the temporary discomfort of judgment or change. Section 3. The cost of staying stuck. So, we really need to talk about the actual cost of buying into that false sense of safety your brain is trying to sell you. If you take absolutely nothing else away from our explainer today, please deeply understand this. You are not lacking ability. Most people do not stay stuck because they lack the skills, the intelligence, or the capacity to pull it off. You are simply caught in a biological cycle where fear just feels safer than going after what you want. The true cost of staying stuck is trading your ultimate potential for a temporary, fleeting feeling of safety. Section 4. Why success requires uncertainty. So how do we actually break out of this cycle? Well, it starts by realizing that success isn't made of comfort. If we break down the actual ingredients required for wealth building and genuine self-improvement, the recipe might surprise you. Notice that a whopping 70% of the success equation is made up of uncertainty and risk, with personal growth making up the remaining 30%. Growth, opportunity, success, they exist entirely on the other side of your comfort zone. Achieving them doesn't mean you somehow magically eliminate fear. It means you develop a really high tolerance for uncertainty and risk. It means accepting that feeling scared isn't a red flag. It's actually a symptom that you are finally on the right path. Section 5. How to act despite fear. All right, now that we've exposed the brain's little trap, it's time to get actionable. Here is your roadmap to step forward, even when you feel that biological fear response flaring up. Step 1. You have to recognize when fear is wearing that disguise of logic. The next time you catch yourself saying, I just need to wait a little longer, call yourself out on it. Step 2, accept that discomfort isn't a warning sign to stop, it is a mandatory requirement for success. You just have to learn to sit with that uncomfortable feeling. And step 3, actively choose growth over comfort today. By following these practical steps, you can stop letting fear make your decisions for you and completely rewire your relationship with uncertainty. And that brings us to what I consider the absolute most powerful takeaway from today's explainer. Fear feels safe today, but growth creates freedom tomorrow. That is the ultimate trade-off you have to negotiate with yourself. You can have the temporary, fleeting safety of the familiar right now, or you can endure a little bit of discomfort to build true, lasting freedom for your future. So, as we wrap up our time together, there's really only one question left for you to answer. Will you choose growth today? Or will you let the biological illusion of safety continue to hold you back from the success you are entirely capable of achieving? The choice is completely in your hands. Take that step into the discomfort of growth. I promise you, tomorrow's freedom will be worth it.